Jason Statham walked into an old, rough dojo in the middle of a busy city. He wore a black cap pulled low and a white t-shirt. He looked calm and relaxed. He was just there to visit a young boy, his friend's son, who trained in martial arts. Jason liked the kid and came to cheer him on. He didn't know the dojo master was someone from his past. Suddenly, a loud, mean voice echoed through the dojo. It was Vince Leong, a Wing Chun master with a sly grin. He looked at Jason with angry eyes and shouted, "Back to embarrass yourself, you washed-up star?" The students inside the dojo gasped and looked at Jason. Some of them didn't know who he was. They laughed and pointed. "Who's the guy in the t-shirt?" one kid said. "Looks like nobody," another added. But Jason just stood there, calm and cool. He looked at Vince, his eyes sharp. "Just here to visit," he said in a low, strong voice. He didn't know right away that the master was Vince Leong, his old classmate from their training days. Long ago, Jason used to beat Vince in sparring matches, and Vince never forgot it. Vince smiled in a mean way and stepped closer. "Let's see if you've still got it," he said. He wanted to fight Jason in front of everyone. The students got excited. They started shouting and cheering. One skinny teen laughed and yelled, "That cap guy's gonna lose." Another shouted, "Vince, show him who's boss." But they didn't know the truth. They didn't know Jason was really strong, fast, and smart. He just kept standing there, quiet but ready. He looked at his phone for a second and gave a small nod. Outside the dojo, reporters were waiting. Jason had called them. He had a plan. The dojo was dark and smelled like smoky incense. The mats were old, and the walls were chipped. But the people inside didn't notice that. They only cared about the fight. A loud creak came from the wooden floor. The fight was about to start. Jason didn't come to fight. But now he had no choice. He saw something strange. One of the students, a skinny boy, looked very worried. Jason leaned in and asked, "Are you okay, kid?" The boy whispered, "I owe Vince thousands of dollars. I couldn't bring in any new students." Jason's eyes narrowed. That was a clue. Vince was scamming kids. He was making them pay money and asking them to bring more people just for cash. That wasn't right. But Jason stayed calm. He kept quiet and waited. The other students didn't see what was happening. They thought Vince was a great master. They didn't know he had a fake certificate on his desk. They didn't know he wasn't a real master. Vince had fooled everyone. Everyone but Jason. Vince saw Jason's calm face and got even more angry. "Still acting like you own the dojo," he sneered. He was trying to make Jason angry. He remembered the days when Jason was better than him, and it still made him mad. "Bring it on," Jason growled, standing tall. His voice was deep and full of strength. The students screamed and clapped. They believed Vince would win. "Segway's the champ," they yelled. But they were wrong. Vince rushed in with big kicks, but they were slow and sloppy. Jason blocked them easily. His moves were sharp and quick like a tiger. He didn't waste energy. He stayed focused. One kid in the crowd said, "Wow, Vince is so strong." Another shouted, "That t-shirt guy has no chance." But they didn't know what Jason could really do. Jason kept dodging and blocking. His cap stayed low, his eyes locked on Vince. The crowd was loud, but Jason stayed calm. He saw the scared kid again, the one who told him about the scam. The boy's hands were shaking. He looked scared but hopeful. Vince leaned in close during the fight and said, "You still think you're the golden boy?" Jason's eyes flashed. Now he remembered. This was the same jealous classmate from years ago. "You never mastered anything, Leong," Jason shot back. His words were like punches, fast and hard. The fight got more intense. Jason moved like lightning. Vince tried more flashy moves, but they didn't land. His punches missed. His kicks were too slow. He looked strong, but it was all fake. Jason saw through everything. He knew Vince had fooled the students. But not for long. The cameras were outside. The truth was going to come out. Vince snarled, "You're no match for me now, old champ." Jason didn't blink. "You're still just hot air, Leong," he said. The students cheered for Vince, not knowing he was a fake. "Wipe out that t-shirt guy," someone shouted. But Jason wasn't just any guy. He had real training, real skills. He moved like a panther, quiet but deadly. He dodged every move. His fists snapped like steel. His eyes never left Vince. The worried student in the crowd looked at Jason again. His face is full of hope now. Jason nodded once, letting the boy know he had a plan. The dojo was loud and hot. The crowd screamed. The floor shook. Selfie's moves were getting weaker. He was tired. Jason was just getting started. Every punch from Jason was sharp. Every block was perfect. The kids cheered louder for Vince, still fooled by his flashy lies. But some started to notice something was wrong. Why does Vince keep missing? A girl asked. Jason's smirk was small but growing. He could feel the truth coming. Just a few more moves. Outside, the media waited. Cameras ready. Reporters prepared to share the real story. Jason's trap was working. Inside, the air felt thick. The incense burned. The lights flickered. Jason stayed steady, like a mountain. Vince looked desperate now. He threw one more sloppy punch, but Jason blocked it and stepped aside. You lied to all of them, Jason said clearly. Then, like a flash of lightning, Jason moved. One smooth strike. One perfect takedown. Vince hit the mat hard. Silence. Then gasps. The students started. Some looked shocked. Some looked angry. One kid whispered, "He beat him. Just like that." Jason stood tall, his cap still low, his white t-shirt clean. He looked around the room. "He's not a real master," Jason said. "He's scamming you." The doors burst open. Cameras flashed. The media rushed in. Reporters shouted questions. The truth was out. Vince tried to stand, but he looked weak. His fake certificate was shown on the screen. Reporters talked to the students. The kid who owed money told his story. The dojo was full of whispers now. Some students cried. Others left. The lie was broken. Jason walked over to the worried boy. He patted his shoulder. "You're gonna be okay, kid." The boy smiled, tears in his eyes. Jason turned to leave. He looked back once. The dojo was quiet now. No more cheers. Just the truth. He walked out into the sunlight, his cap still low, his shirt blowing in the wind. The world now knows the truth. Jason Statham had won. Not just a fight, but justice. Leong told lies. He had tricked people for a long time. But now, Jason Statham was ready to stop him. Leong moved quickly, trying to hit Jason again. His taunt was weak. "You'll lose just like before," he said. But Jason was ready. "Keep dreaming, Leong," he shouted back. Their words sounded like a big action movie. The room, a dojo full of wooden beams and the smell of incense, felt like it was about to explode. Their rivalry was hot, like fire. Every move they made shook the room. Jason's skills lit up the dojo like a bright light. The people watching, students of the dojo, were loud. But inside, they were scared. They had started to worry. They had begun to wonder if Leong was lying to them. Jason's punches were fast and full of fury. He was ready to fight back hard. His white t-shirt looked like a flag waving in battle.
The whole room felt like it had a heartbeat. Something big was going to happen. Jason had a secret plan. He had told the media about Leong's scam. He was ready to show the truth to everyone. The crowd screamed, but their cheers couldn't hide the truth anymore. Leong's lies were breaking, and Jason's next move would destroy them completely. Everyone was watching, their eyes wide, their hearts beating fast. They wanted to see Leong taken down. They wanted the lies to end. The dojo was louder than ever. Jason Statham movies like a storm, his fists striking like meteors. He used his powerful Wing Chun moves, kicking and punching with amazing speed and power. His voice boomed like thunder. "Your fake reign is over, Leong," he shouted. His black cap stayed still on his head, and his t-shirt stretched across his strong chest as he fought. He hit Leong again and again. Leong fell to the mat, his smug smile gone. The air was thick with incense and surprise. The students gasped. One girl shouted, "He's crushing Vince." A boy said, "No way," his voice shaking. The students had trusted Leong, also called Vince. But now they saw the truth. The trust they had felt like ice cracking under their feet. They weren't blind anymore. Liang's tricks were being exposed. Jason stood tall. His eyes were full of fire. He nodded toward the door. And then it happened. Cameras came flooding in. News reporters and lights filled the dojo. Jason had told them to come. He wanted everyone to see the truth. Liang tried to speak. "You're making this up, Statham," he shouted. But his voice was scary. His lies were breaking apart under the bright lights. A brave student, inspired by Jason, stepped forward. His voice shook, but he spoke clearly. "He's stealing our money," the student said. "He makes us pay thousands, or we have to bring in more people." The dojo went quiet. Then it exploded. "Liang is a cheater," a teenager yelled. "He's a liar," another shouted. The crowd couldn't believe they had been tricked. It was like a fire had started, burning through their confusion. The truth was out now. Jason's plan worked. His fight had revealed everything. The cameras captured it all. Liang tried to deny it, but his hands were shaking. He was scared. More students stepped forward. "He forced us to pay for fake lessons," a girl cried. She held up fake papers, contracts they had found on Liang's desk. "We paid for nothing," another student yelled. It was a storm of anger. The cheers for Liang were gone. No one made fun of Jason's t-shirt anymore. The crowd was full of fury now. They waved their contracts like flags. Jason walked forward. His cap is still steady. His voice is strong. "Live with truth, not with lies," he said. His words were like a hammer smashing King's pride. The media caught every word. The students couldn't stop watching. Their old master, the one they trusted, was a fake. Liang tried one more time. "I trained you, didn't I?" he said, his voice small. But his words were weak. They didn't work anymore. The students shouted back. "He tricked us," a girl yelled. She showed more fake contracts. "We gave him our money for nothing." Their voices grew louder and stronger. No one believed Liang anymore. Jason had exposed everything. He stood tall. His shirt, once laughed at, now looked like a symbol of truth and strength. The news cameras kept rolling. Liang sat on the floor, slumped and beaten. "I lost my way," he said in a whisper. "Please give me another chance." It was different from before. This time he seemed sorry. His voice didn't sound angry or proud. It sounded sad. The students listened. They had been tricked, but now they were strong. One teen stood up and said, "We'll train with real teachers now." "No more lies," another shouted. They were ready to rebuild. Jason had shown them what truth looked like. The old dojo would change. They would make it better. They would start again. Hope filled the air like a fresh breeze. The scam was gone. The lies were broken. Liang leaned against a cracked wall. He looked tired, but he looked different too, less proud, more humble. Jason watched. He had done what he came to do. He had brought truth to the dojo. The students stood with him now. They had learned something powerful. "Honor makes us strong," Jason said. "We must always tell the truth and do what is right." The lights in the dojo glowed softly. The incense still floated through the air, but now it smelled like a new beginning. The cameras were still on. The whole world would see what happened here. A girl looked up at Jason. "Thank you," she said. "You saved us." Jason smiled. Not a big smile, but a proud one. He had fought with fists and with truth. He had won both battles. The students promised to never be fooled again. They promised to stand for honesty and real learning. They would find new masters, good ones, and they would rebuild the dojo with truth, respect, and hard work. Jason Statham had done what many thought was impossible. He had beaten the strongest fighter in the dojo. But more than that, he had beaten lies with truth. As the cameras caught the last moments, Jason stood in the center of the dojo. His cap is low. His white t-shirt is still tight. He looked around at the students and nodded. "Let's start again," he said. The crowd cheered. This time it was real. No more lies. No more tricks. Only the truth. Only honor. And with that, the dojo began its new life. As Statham shouted, his cap and t-shirt showed he was strong and brave. It made the whole dojo feel different. The people watching didn't just cheer like before, they felt something new. They wanted the truth. They clapped and shouted, their voices like drums full of hope. The smoke from the incense floated in the air. Liang's big ego was gone now. Statham's story of getting better and doing the right thing made everyone excited. Their hearts beat fast. The dojo felt alive. It needed one more big moment to finish the story. The dojo buzzed like electricity. Jason Statham smiled, his black cap pulled low, white t-shirt glowing in the neon lights. He laughed and said, "I just came to help with training, Didn't think it would get this crazy. His voice was calm and funny, remembering a time he snuck into a dojo and got caught. His laugh made everyone feel better. The students came closer, eyes wide. The air was full of excitement. Liang's lies were fading away on the old training mats. Statham's kindness and bravery pulled them in like a shooting star. A young girl asked, "How did you get so good at Wing Chun?" A boy added, "Can you show us real moves?" Their questions were sharp and exciting. It brought them close to him, like a real team. No more silly games like guessing from jars or wearing fake badges like Liang did. The crowd really wanted the truth now. Their voices felt like a drumbeat, tying them to Statham's strength. The dojo's old wooden beams shook with the sound of unity. Statham's every word made them listen more closely. Then a teen stepped forward, eyes shining bright. "You're our true spark," he said. His voice was full of feeling, not just saying sorry for trusting someone bad or being mad about cheating. The crowd shouted loud, their cheers like a new song. Statham was now their hero, strong like steel in the smoky air. He was like a bright light shooting across the sky. The dojo's heart felt new. Every student nodded, promising to follow truth, not lies. Statham's jokes and courage lit up the dojo like a fire. The place felt alive with a new start. Liang's tricks were gone.
The story was at its hottest part. Everyone was listening closely, hearts racing, waiting for Statham to say something amazing. The dojo glowed like the rising sun. Jason Statham stood strong, black cap sideways, white shirt shining in the incense light. "Real skill is better than lies. Stay humble," he shouted. His words were like fire, showing everyone how Liang's lies were beaten by real honesty. His message burned bright in the buzzing lights. The crowd leaned in. Their hearts pounded. The old mats became a stage for his final moment. Statham's truth burned away the darkness. He looked at the students and said, "Fight for truth with every move." His words were like a rocket, inspiring them to learn real Wing Chun. They didn't care about old wins or fake champions anymore. A girl yelled, "Will you be our real master?" Another shouted, "No more fake teachers." Their promises were strong and full of feeling. They were different from the old cheers and shouts. This was something new, something real. The dojo's wooden beams shook with new energy. Statham tipped his cap and smiled. His grin showed he was proud. "Time to move on," he said. He walked away like a hero. His cap and t-shirt were now symbols of the big win. He wasn't hurt. He was full of power and success. The students cheered. Their voices made a new song. "We'll make you proud," they shouted. Not calling him a champ, not yelling about the old lies, just making a promise to carry his light forward. The dojo's lights glowed like stars. Liang's lies vanished like smoke. The narrator's voice rose as Statham stood tall, changing the dojo forever and inspiring kids all around the world. The story burned bright. Everyone was listening. Their hearts beat fast, hoping his words would live on past the dojo. The dojo stood proud, the smoke shining with hope. Statham's final goodbye was the last bright spark that finished the story, leaving everyone excited for what comes next. If you like this story, tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun adventures and mysteries. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.